7 seasons, O'Brien went 52-48. He won 4 division titles. Max Kellerman, you are up first. Did Bill O'Brien deserve to be fired?
Of course, he never deserved to be hired in the first place as GM. I don't know why they did that. They made the playoffs, and they were heading in the right direction, it seems. You have a quarterback who, by the way, there's a little bit, talk about polarizing. Everyone seems to like Deshaun Watson, but opinion is not unanimous that this guy is like the real deal elite kind of quarterback. I happen to think he is. I'd love Deshaun Watson as the quarterback of my team. I think most people would. And I think he'd be attractive to most head coaches. And Bill O'Brien had him. But then Bill O'Brien also wanted to be GM. He did not build the team that got to the playoffs in the first place. But he sure did dismantle it. I mean, they look like it's not a good team. Is it one of the worst teams in football? Well, by record, yeah, and maybe they are. How do you dismantle an ascending playoff team with a rising star young quarterback in the matter of a season? He was really only officially GM for 1 year, and he took it apart. Was Bill O'Brien a great head coach? I don't think so. But he made certain adjustments with Deshaun Watson after a slow start a couple of years ago. It's not like I've seen worse head coaches. I've seen better. But as a GM, I mean, the DeAndre Hopkins trade alone, the day, as soon as it happens, you fire that guy. That was the dumbest trade I can remember. And it was universally panned. You literally couldn't find one serious person who would defend that trade. So did he deserve to be fired? Yeah, as GM, he deserved to never be hired. And at this point, since he's both the coach and the GM, he's got to go.
Well, I definitely agree with you that he has to go. I'm not going to make light of somebody losing their job. I will tell, and I'm not saying that you're doing that either, Max. But what I will say to you is that here's where the series. First of all, let me take a moment to give him props for something before I get into this. It's very rare that you see a coach get fired and show up the way he showed up and answer the questions yesterday. I appreciate that. I truly do. Because obviously you lose your job, you're unemployed, and you're obviously considered not good enough, and you manned up. And so I respect how candid he was and in terms of addressing what transpired yesterday, and I applaud him for that. But here's the flip side. Tunsil and Kenny Stills, you give up 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for them. You trade Jadeveon Clowney. What was that for exactly? I believe that was a 3rd-round pick, if I remember correctly. You give away DeAndre Hopkins. And I know what you're saying, Max, about him being the GM, but I think that what really, really bothered me about the DeAndre Hopkins, it wasn't just that he's a stud, but he is a guy that came from Clemson, just like Deshaun Watson came from Clemson. They were not only a dynamic tandem, they were boys. Why mess with that? Why do something like that? I can't tell y'all in my 25 years plus doing this business how many times I've run across executives and I've literally asked the question, what the hell are you scared of? If you're the boss, they're your subordinates. They answer to you. Sure, people can give you headaches sometimes. Sure, they could be, a prima donna-ish or whatever word you want to use. But you're not playing. And if you're not playing, then the objective is, number one, do they have what it takes and do they do what it takes to win? And the guys that he got rid of, so many times we've heard about money and stuff, but we also heard about his personal relationships, how he was able to ingratiate himself with some, but not necessarily others, and all of this other stuff. And I'm just sitting there going like, you got to be kidding me. And that's what this comes down to. And it wasn't just the players. I mean, Rick Smith was considered a pretty damn good GM, and then supposedly he ends up gone in Houston. And we heard stories, and we don't know what's true or what's untrue. But what we do know is that somehow, some way, one executive after another ended up departing from Houston while Bill O'Brien stayed. Because Bill O'Brien somehow, some way, manipulated a situation in such a way where his power constantly elevated, even though they were never truly a title contender. And even with somebody, I forgot the guy's name, Esther B or whatever his name is, it's a guy that Bill O'Brien brought in, sort of a character coach to analyze and evaluate talent on the team and who should stay and who should go? Well, this guy stays, but Bill O'Brien's gone. As far as I'm concerned, if you're the McNair family, you clean house. Anything that Bill O'Brien has touched, if you're moving in a forward direction, you get rid of everybody he brought in. That's what you do. And I'm sorry to be so harsh with that on that level, but when this kind of situation takes place with a team, you simply can't just resolve matters by getting rid of the coach/GM, who never should have been the GM in the first place.
Yep.
And how he got to be GM is what makes everybody else touchable, because there's too much personal stuff that's going on in there as opposed to strong, solid, smart business football decisions.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.